Hi everyone, I'm here today with a former student, Logan Davidson. You know him as the creator and first weekly update anchor. And we're just going to question back and forth a little bit about some experiences he's had since he left our humble little nest. Morning, Logan.
Good morning, Ms. Wittenberg. Nice to see you again.
I'm happy to have you back. So let's go ahead and start. Let's see, you left here and went to...
Well, whenever I graduated, I went home and had lunch with my family. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
No, I graduated high school and was planning on attending Texas Tech University.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually pretty well set up. I was in the pre-law program, and I was in the pre-graduate program as well, and I had a double major in business management and finance and a minor in marketing.
Super
It was
brain.
exciting. Registered for IFC Rush and everything. It was going to be awesome.
Rock and roll.
And ended up going to a junior college in College Station.
How does that happen?
Well, I got a DWI. That's how it happened for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to tell us about that?
It was July 7th, 2012 at 4:31 in the morning. The night started, it was the weekend immediately after July 4th.
Okay.
So me and a bunch of friends decided to throw a party in celebration of, nation's independence by, breaking the laws that our nation has instilled in us or upon us. And yeah, it was just a party, and I ran into my ex-girlfriend there. Who
Always a joy.
Yeah, it was a real rough situation, and she went from 0 to blackout, as some people do, binge drinking underage in about 45 minutes, and then bad situation. So I left. I drove. I had consumed a large amount of alcohol and hadn't slept in a few days, and that's the last thing I remember is leaving.
This was a conscious decision to leave.
Yes, and well, yeah.
Inebriated, but conscious.
Inebriated, but alive and well.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the last thing I remember until at 4:31 a.m. The only reason I know that's what time it was is because I woke up in the middle of a field sobriety test.
So you were blacked out at the time.
Yes, and asleep. I was able to talk to the officer, and I have the police report and everything. I was asleep when found.
Okay.
My car was off.
Okay.
I think. I don't really remember. It's been a while since I read it.
Okay.
But I was pulled over on Trophy Club Drive, which I don't live on Trophy Club Drive. No idea why I was there, but that's where I decided to pull over. I passed out, woke up in the middle of a field sobriety test. Never really found out how I did. I'm just assuming.
Bad.
Not the best. But what really got me, and what they use, like the one that literally can make it or break it. Even if you pass, they'll walk and turn and all that.
Right.
So I'll ask you what time it is.
Right.
I said 2:30. It was the best guess. I had no idea. It was 4:30.
Okay.
4:31, as the officer later told me. And I was arrested, spent 22 hours in jail. Wasn't able to call my parents until I'd been in there for 16 hours. I wasn't 18 yet, but in Texas you're an adult. And I didn't go to juvenile detention. I went to jail, and there were like 3 guys in there on drug and assault charges and like real criminals around. Got out of jail. Had to go get my car from the impound. They had searched my car, tore it apart. Then I went home, and then it was, all right, here's your new life. You're not going to college anymore. I hadn't told my mom yet. That took me 2 or 3 days to do. I texted her. I didn't even
That's
call
what
her.
she wants to hear.
I texted her. I was just like, I don't remember what I said, but it was something along the lines of, hey, I got a DWI and I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
Didn't work.
No.
Got a phone call.
Anyway.
Ignored it. Got another one. Took it.
Okay.
Yeah, just kind of devastating for the whole family. But that was the easy part was right then, because nothing had really happened yet.
Okay, it just keeps on becoming more fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it was pretty terrible, but that was terrible for 22 hours. Now it's been terrible. We're coming up on a year now.
Okay.
And it's still a pending charge. Haven't been convicted yet. That's because I haven't been pushed through the court system.
Right.
It takes a long time. I have a breathalyzer on my car.
Really?
Yeah.
So you can't start your car until you blow into the little happy tube. What else has gone on? I mean,
well, the breathalyzer is a big one. They suspend your license. I appealed and got an occupational driver's license, which allows you to drive for homework and school needs.
even though you haven't made it through the system yet, you're still having to cough up cash?
Yeah. Oh, all the time. Well, I personally worked 2 jobs in high school, had a paid internship and an unpaid one. I was a pretty busy kid. Had a lot of money in savings. Most of that went to bail, and the rest of it went to lawyer fees. The retaining the attorney, I think, was $3,500 up front. Like, there's no
Mickey Mouse
pay as
around.
you go.
Right.
It's you have to give them money. And then once you're convicted, because if you get charged with it, you're almost definitely going to get convicted of your DWI. It's $1,000 for the next 3 years after your conviction to get your license. My fine on the what it's going to be, I think, is about $500, 50-ish hours of community service, and then 14 months on top of the 12 I've already had with the breathalyzer. So I'll be almost 21 when I get that off my car.
Potential cash could be like huge.
Yeah, there are billboards that say your DWI could cost you $10,000.
And that's really not a lie.
Yeah, no, that's almost lowballing it in a lot of cases. So I spent most of my college savings, all the money my parents were going to give to me to help me in college, went to this. So that's why I had to go to a junior college. And I mean, it sucks.
Right.
It's expensive. It's going to continue to be expensive
Okay.
for a long time.
Whenever you apply to go to schools now?
I have to disclose it, even though I'm not convicted yet. Like I'm transferring up to North Texas, and even though I wasn't convicted yet, I had to disclose that in my application to them, and it goes under review. I couldn't get a job the first semester I lived in College Station. I applied for 6, interviewed for 4, was in the process of being hired for 3 when I disclosed it, and all 3 didn't hire me.
Because you had a DWI?
Yeah. I finally got a job working for College Station School District, and that was a huge turning point because for a long time I was just like, this is it. I can't get a part-time job. You know, a college might accept me, but then I graduate and I go apply for a job and things like that.
So yours was the best of the worst case, and then
It's still just the worst, honestly. It's pretty bad. And there's some irony in it. Yeah, because I always said, you know, oh, I'm not going to drink and drive. And then you start drinking and driving because I did it. I was 17. I wasn't going to get caught.
Right.
And I would go out to a party and I would be like, well, I want to go home.
Yeah,
I don't want to
stay here
I
all
don't want to
night.
sleep on the floor here or the couch
Yeah.
here. I want to go home. So I would drive home and, you know, I'm disappointed in myself to say I did it literally probably every weekend.
right.
Sometimes more often than that. But yeah, it's rough.
Okay.
It's a rough time.
So I really appreciate you coming in and sharing your story with us. Is there anything else you'd like to say to the people out there in NHS TV land?
You know, probably the one thing I would want to say most is the one thing, you know, gets harped on a lot and that, you know, people always tell, you know, listen to is, you know, don't drink and drive, obviously. I wouldn't, you know, don't drink underage, but especially don't drink and drive because it's a lot worse than getting a ticket if you get a DWI, and it's unexplainably worse if you hurt yourself or somebody else. And I know prom's coming up, it's tomorrow,
Right.
yeah. And, you know, after prom parties, you know, people go into prom before, you've got the limo and all that before, and it seems like a great idea to drink probably then, and, you know, maybe it's safer that way, but then after prom rolls around and you got to get a ride home, and then you're at an after prom party and there's a risk of driving, so, you know, just be safe this weekend, every weekend, but especially this weekend because there are a lot of proms and a lot of, you know, it's a really risky situation.
Thanks for coming and sharing with us. I appreciate
You know,
it.
anything I can do to, you know, make sure someone else doesn't make the same mistake as me.
Because odds are they may not be as lucky as you.